welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to MJL Papercrafts. My name's Mel. Hope you guys are all very well. So today we're going to be starting one of our Sunday series, which is Starter Sunday. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you like today's video, then please do give this video a like, comment and a subscribe, and let's get into the video. So hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Welcome back to MJL Papercrafts. Hope you guys are all very well. Hope you guys are enjoying your lovely summery Sunday. Today we're going to start our Starter Sunday series, which is called Starter Sunday, and it's basically a beginner's guide to card making. So today we're actually going to be making envelopes without the We Are Memory Keepers punch board. So if you have cards that you've been making which are under different sizes, 4x4, 4.5 by 5.5, 5x7, 6x3 for example, then we're actually going to be making envelopes without using the We Are Memory Keepers punch board. So if you guys are totally new to card making, then I'm going to actually show you what a We Are Memory Keepers punch board looks like. There are two versions of the punch board. One is a teal and grey one, which basically just cuts out and just punches out the envelopes, and there's one which I have, which is the 123 punch board by We Are Memory Keepers, and this is this one here. So this is the white and mint one, and this will basically show you how to make envelopes, bows and boxes. So this is the 123 punch board. Any links or products that I mentioned throughout this video, it's not sponsored by the way, I'll leave them in the box below. So this one has some measurements here on the side, and this one actually has an extender. If you want me to do a tutorial on how to use this particular 123 punch board, then please do let me know in the comments below. But we're actually going to be not using this today. This is normally the piece of equipment that I do use to actually make my envelopes, because it's just a little bit more easier. But if you don't have access to a punch board, are very unaware of what a punch board is, have been trying out numerous punch boards but haven't really got the hang of it, then I'm actually going to teach you how to use how to make an envelope without using the punch board. So this demonstration or tutorial comes from the lovely Sam Colcott, who is Mix Up Crafts here on YouTube. I'll leave her link to her video in the description box below. It's a video from maybe 4 or 5 years ago I think, and it's just one that I've just seen recently. I know a lot of you guys don't really either have the equipment or don't have the money to buy the equipment or don't have access to getting the equipment, so I know that trying to do envelopes without having to use flimsy envelopes that you normally get in your card sets, or you'd like to do customized envelopes, then this is definitely the ideal video for you. So we're actually going to do a couple of demos here. So I'm actually going to show you two sizes that I have done. I have done a 5x7 size, but you basically need to follow the same exact guidelines, and these are going to be rough estimates of how we're going to do the actual cards, and also how the envelopes actually look as well. So the sizes that we're actually going to be playing with today are mainly going to be these ones. So I'm going to demonstrate the 4x4 one here, and the 4.5 by 5.5 one. We also have a 5x7 card here as well, which I've done envelopes for, and these are testers that I've done, so I'm just going to put those to one side. And these are the testers that I've done following that tutorial. So this is the paper that I've used. So the paper that I've used is called Buenos. I think it's by Crepe Paper. It's a really gorgeous kind of colourful collection. Has very Spanishy vibes, very kind of holiday Mediterranean vibes. I really love the colours of the paper. Again, I'll leave the collection in the box in the description box below. So if you'd like to check that out, then you're more than welcome to. So this is the 5x7 one. This is the 4x4 one. And this is the 4.5 by 5.5 one I've made as well. So these are what they actually look like. So we've got like little cuts and indents in them. So these are just kind of test envelopes that I made. But all you need to do is just make a couple of finishing touches on them to actually make them look a little bit more neater, a little bit more tidier. These are just rough ones that I actually did just to make sure that I understood the tutorial correctly and that I'm actually following all the guidelines as well. So there's the envelopes that I made using the Buenos paper. So we're actually going to do the demo now for you. So I'm just going to probably use the 4x4 one, and then just give you the demonstration on how I've actually made the actual envelopes for them. So this is a 4x4 card size, so this will basically be adaptable to any size that you actually have. So if you've made your card into a 4x6, you've made it into a 5x7, you made it into a 4.5 by 5.5 card, then this is absolutely fine as well. You just need to make the same adjustments. So this is the 4x4 card that I've got. This is just a card blank, just to show you how to make the envelope. I've just got other bits of equipment. So I've got a pair of scissors just to cut out the edges on the flaps. I've then got a pencil as well. I've also got a ruler. I've also got a bone folder to make all the creases for the envelope. I've also got a paper cutter or a guillotine, and I also have 12x12 papers as well. I'll show you the papers that I'm using. I have like 3 pages here just in case. So again, these are in the 12x12 sizes, so just in case you have a bigger card size, then you can adapt the 12x12 paper to actually adapt for the card that you'd like to make the envelope for. So these are the ones, so these are some of the papers from the collection. Really beautiful, really lovely summery kind of colours. Love the florals, I love the bright colours too. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this yellow piece, I think, and then this is a really beautiful colour. And then what you need to do is you basically need to get your 4x4 piece of card. So this here, and then what you need to do is you basically need to measure across the card here diagonally. You can do it in centimeters. I'll leave the sizes for the centimeters of what you need to add extra to actually make your envelope. I always do mine primarily in inches. So all you need to do is to measure the card from one side to the other here diagonally, and that will give you the width of the paper that you need. All you need to do is basically measure from one side to the other, and then you need to add an inch on. So this one is, so this is coming in at 5 3/4. So basically I've just put a little bit of leeway there so you can have a little bit more room to maneuver the card. I think if you did it at 5 5/8, I think it'd be a bit too tight. So I've done it at 5 3/4, which is a good size to use. So all you need to do is, if that's 5 3/4, you need to add an inch on, so the paper size will be 6 3/4. So that's all you need to do. So all you need to do is just add an inch onto the size of the card from one side to the other. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to cut a piece of this 12x12 in the yellow at 6 3/4. Once you've cut out the piece of paper, that is adjusted to the size. So this is now a piece of square paper which is 6 3/4. You just need to turn it around on the other side. I will basically line this up on my grid mat here just to make sure that everything is relatively equal. So I'll basically put it here because you have to do a tiny bit of measuring out. So I'll just line this here so it's actually equal. So there we go. So I've basically lined it up here and here so it actually is equal side to the grid mat. Then what you need to do is you need to lie your card in the middle of the paper. So you can adjust it so it's actually fitting within the sides of your grid mat. So you can just have a look where you're hitting the actual elements. It just needs to be kind of like in the middle, essentially. So if you guys can see, maybe I should have used a different piece of card, but if you can see here, it's basically in the middle of the actual piece of paper. Then what you need to do is you just need to measure if it actually is equal. So you just get a ruler, and I'll just put this here. So this is half an inch, half an inch, half an inch, and then half an inch. So you just need to basically guesstimate it. So that is half an inch all the way around. All you need to do now is you basically need to fold the edges in. So if I take this bottom edge, I would basically say maybe leave a little gap, so maybe between like 1 or 2 millimeters from the edge of your card here, then you would just need to make sure there's a tiny gap. It's not a huge gap. This is a relatively, so if you're doing quite a flat card, then it'd be quite easy to wrap around. So I would basically guesstimate. I think this paper is probably between 150 and 200 GSM, so it's a bit too, I find it's a bit too thick to actually use. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm basically folding the piece of paper up. Now I would lightly fold it just so that you can see where it's actually folding. So if you want it to be a little bit more straighter, then you can just move it, crease it to the end here. So that is where the fold line is, if you guys can see. So I've just left a little gap there. And then what you need to do is you need to do the same on the other side as well. And again, if you guys don't get this the first time round, which I know I had to do it multiple times in order to do it the other way around as well, because when I'm watching videos online of crafters that I see doing demos, I have to like rewind the video, and then I have to rewind it, then watch it, then rewind it, then watch it. So this is all you need to basically do just to meet the card. So again, I've just left a gap here at the bottom, so you're just folding the flaps in. So I'm just going to do that with that piece of card. And then you're just going to turn it around. And then what you need to do is you then need to either make a mark. You can do it with your bone folder, for example. So you can actually make a mark here at the bottom, make another mark here, so you can actually see where you're folding it. If you use thinner paper, I'd probably recommend it. This paper is definitely a bit too thick to make the envelopes, because sometimes with creasing, if you don't really have that much dexterity in your fingers, it's going to be a lot more harder. So again, I'd probably use thinner paper. I'd probably use between 100 and maybe 80 GSM of paper. I think this is probably 150 to 200 paper, this paper pad, so it's a little bit more thicker. So again, what I've done is I've just turned this around here, and then I've basically folded this inside edge here, and I'm going to do this exactly the same on the other side. So again, if you guys can see, again you can mark it here with the bone folder, make it a little bit more easier for yourself. And then all you need to do is just fold it in. And then crease the side. So again, if you just want to fold that in, then absolutely fold it in. What I normally do is once all the sides are actually closed in, I just go in with my bone folder and then just crease everything down so it's a little bit more firm and a little bit more sturdy instead of it being too bulky. So that's what you should have, basically a card in the middle with everything folded in from both sides. Now what you'll find is that you have these triangles in the top, so all you need to do is actually cut them out. And what I find is that if you cut them a little bit on the inside here, so if you basically snip them on the inside here, so there's my there is my fold. I'll do it here with a pencil. So the fold is here, so there's a fold. You can probably do this with a pencil or a pen. And then you just need to, I'm just going to draw them in for the sake of this demo. And then what you can do is you can just erase them out. So those are the inside of the triangles all marked. What you then need to do is you need to cut those triangles out. So I find that if you cut them dead on here, then you can, but you might have a little bit left over. So what I just do is I just clip it on the inside here of the line, and then do it that way. So again, that's one triangle. Again, so I'll show you on screen. You can just clip the inside here. And all you need to do is that for all four sides. So again, I'm just going to do this very carefully. And then again, you can do it so it's literally at right angles, but I find that sometimes you leave a bit too much on the end and it doesn't always meet at the top, especially when you're trying to fold the edges in. So that is your envelope. I'm actually just going to round the corners off as well. So I have one of these, which is a corner rounder. You can get these in different like sizes. You can have large one, or you can put smaller size curved corners here. So as you can tell, it just creates a very curved corner. So I use a punch for that. There is one on the Punchboard, but I've refrained from using that for that demo. And so then what I now do is I actually will now put some double-sided tape. So I've got some double-sided tape here. This is from Fawn. So this is the one that I normally use. You can use whichever brand of double-sided tape that you have. So I just snip a bit here off the side of the tape, and then so what will happen is that is what your inside of your envelope will look like with the triangles taken out. So that is what that will look like. So when you actually close the envelope together, you can see that there's a little bit of a indent here, and then you obviously fold it up to make the envelope. So I'm just going to now just put some double-sided tape here. So I normally just put it on just on the inside. Obviously when you seal your card up, then you can just use another bit of double-sided tape on the flap, so it actually gets closed properly. And then I'll just do one here on this side. Yep, which actually has some tape on there. I'm just doubling the amount of tape that I actually have. And that is basically your envelope. So I'm just going to get the 4x4 card that I have here, that I've obviously measured. So there it is. And this will basically fit in that envelope. So that is your envelope made. And then you can obviously close it. You need to just put double-sided tape on the top here. And then that is your envelope that you can just decorate with a label of the person's name on the front. So that is for a 4x4 one. If you want a different size, then I'll show you how to do a different size. I have a different sized card here. So the one that I have here is the 4.5 by 5.5. This is a rectangle card. And what you need to do is you need to do exactly the same thing. So again, if the instructions weren't clear, you missed one step, then please do rewind the video. Or please backtrack the video so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'll write the instructions in the description box below, and I also give the allowance for centimeters because I've been working with inches. I find that inches are just a little bit more better and more easier to use, but again, if you want to do it in centimeters, then you're more than welcome to as well. So this is 4.5 by 5.5. Again, just a random card size that I've just grabbed. And then what we'll do is that this, I can see, is at 7 1/8. So I don't know if you guys will actually be able to see that. It'll probably be better without my hand being in the way. So that is 7 1/8. Again, I just want it to be a little bit more bulky. You can do it so it is 7 1/4. So again, you can do it like that as well. So again, all you need to do is you need to add an inch onto that. So if that is 7 1/8, then it needs to be 8 1/8. So I will now cut that paper size. So I've now got my paper that measures 8 1/8. This has obviously been cut out using my Stampin' Up guillotine. Again, I'm just going to line it up with the mat here just to make it a little bit more easier for me to make everything is level or equal. You can now do the card this way, or you can do this card that way. I personally would have it on the side here like this, and this would just make it a little bit more easier to measure out. So again, what I'm doing is I'm just putting it in the middle of the card. So that is where I think the middle actually is. Then what I'll basically do is I'll just measure that everything is equal here on the sides. So this is 1.5. This is 1.5. This is 1.5. and this is half as well. So those are coming up as half an inch each around the sides, and again all you need to do is do exactly the same thing. So again I'm going to take you can take the bottom. I normally go from the bottom up, so I'll take this piece here. Just make sure that your card is obviously in the paper, just to make sure it's a little bit more equal. If you're not sure about how it's actually going to level up, I would just probably temporarily just pat it down like this. You don't need to completely crease it down, especially if you're looking at where the gap is between your card and where the edge of the envelope is. So I'd say between 1 and 2 millimeters. So this is perfect as I fold it like that. And then what I'll do is I'll then crease it like this just with my finger, and then I'll go around with the bone folder and actually put those creases in. And then what I do is I then just turn the card around and do the same on the other side. Again, just have a look at where your card is meeting where the paper is. If you want to mark the sides and then erase them afterwards using a rubber with a pencil, then that's absolutely fine as well. So I'm just doing the same on this side. Again, just putting a light crease in just with my finger here. And then just having a look where the edge of the card is, where it meets the paper. So again, I'm just creasing that down with my finger. Then you can just turn the card around, and I'll just get my bone folder to show you. And you don't have to use the bone folder, I just use it just to mark where the creases are going to go. And it might be a little bit more easier for you to crease it. Just crease the edge. And again, just lift up the bottom edge. Just put in a light crease. And again, you can just move the envelope so it's level with your mat. So that is how I would do it. So again, I'm just having a look where the edge of my card is. And you can see how that the gap is just a little bit more here. So I'm actually just going to push it up just a tiny bit. So that's perfect, that's fine. That's another 1 or 2 millimeters out, but that's okay. And then just turn it around again the other side. Line it up with your mat if you would like to. Use your bone folder to mark out where the crease lines are going to be. And then just fold this one up as well. So there we go. Again, you can just lift this up and just have a look where the line is. So as you can tell, it's just a 1 or 2 millimeters out. And then you can just fold it over. Again, I just go over with the bone folder around all the creases. Again, if you have a 3D card, you can actually just mold the envelope so it's actually around your card and bouncing off your card to make a 3D envelope, which you can do using this same technique. You just need to have a little bit more allowance for the card. If you're doing a really flat card, which only has like maybe 1 or 2 flat layers on there, so if you're just doing lots of layers of just double-sided sticky tape rather than 3D foam dots, or foam dots in general, then you can actually make allowances for the shape of the envelope to fit around your 3D card. So that is what your card should look like, or that's what your envelope should look like. Again, you have the triangles in the corner here, so again you can just mark them out. So again, I'll just put some little lines in here to illustrate the triangles. This is just to make it a little bit more easier. Again, you don't have to mark these in. This is just easier for some people if they want to know where the triangles are and they just need to cut them out. So again, I will come in here and then just snip the inside here. So as you can tell, the line meets here, but I will just snip it in just on the inside of the line. So there you go. So that is your envelope. Again, I've just rounded off the corners with a corner rounder, and that's what your envelope should look like. And what you need to do is then you just need to make the creases in here, and then I'll just put some double-sided tape here. There we are, with the lovely gorgeous floral pattern on there and the lovely funky designs. I'll just bring in the other envelope here that I made for the 4x4 one. So I hope you guys have like that tutorial, and hope you guys have loved these little envelopes. Hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial of me making the envelopes for any size card without using the We Are Memory Keepers Punchboard. If you do want me to show you a tutorial of how to use the 1, 2, 3 Punchboard, either the envelopes and the boxes, then please do let me know. I'll also leave Sam's video in the description box below as well, so please do refer to that video if you need to make more bouncy envelopes for 3D cards, or even if you're making flat cards as well. She covers some various sizes in that video. I'll also include some written instructions to help you make the envelopes as well as some measurements, so I hope that you'll find that very, very useful. Hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a lovely Sunday ahead, and I'll see you guys in my next video.